is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through. Times don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world but keep the sky under mine.
Well, happy Friday, everyone. Sorry for the delayed start. Had to wait on the wife to wrap up a business call. Don't need that stuff. By chance, hopefully it wouldn't come through the mic, but I don't want to take the chance. But anyway, welcome in. Like I said, it's Friday, and what a week it has been for me. Just in the fact I'm so tired. But anyway. I just hope you all have had a great week and are looking forward to the weekend, because I'm looking forward to going back into work tomorrow for another 24. But anyway, that is that, and we are going to try to relax and do some flying here. We are in Orleans, Louisiana, here at Louis Armstrong International Airport, planning to fly back to the American hub of Dallas-Fort Worth. So this ought to be a really good flight. We're in the Toliss A319. I know some people are trying out all the Toliss aircraft, the 319, 320 Neo, 321, the 321 Neo, the 340, what is it, 500 or 600, one of the two. But I hope I can give you a little bit of insight. We're not going to fully bring this bird from cold and dark, but we'll start here and go. So we are going to be on VATSIM, and this ought to be a fun little hop up there. You know, one thing I did not look. How long is the planned airtime? 1 hour, 12 minutes. Wow, I would have not guessed that. All right, so without further ado, let's get in the cockpit, see how much of the pre-flight we can get into before we get into the actual flight itself. All right, so there you are, folks. You're in the cockpit here. As you're going to say, wow, looks like every Airbus out there. That's pretty much how Airbus kind of set the cockpits up. It helps in that one little part of type rating, get to know your cockpit basically, because you got to be able to do things without being, you got to know where switches are. And when you've got a general layout, the 767, 757 is a great example. Your 737 NGs, that would be like 700, 800, 900s. I don't think the 600 falls under it. But they all generally, and even the earlier models, generally the panels are the same. It really does help that little facet. Moving on to the plane and flying it, that's a whole different. They're all each their own little animals. So, They all look a lot alike, minus a few differences. Like if you're in the 340, well, there might be 4 throttles here instead of two. So things like that, of course, would be different. So anyway, so we're up here and let's bring in Sim Toolkit and Sean into the, well, he says that now. Where is Sim Toolkit? There it is. Thought we were starting to have problems already. All right, Sim Toolkit's up. Here's where we are. ATIS here. Clear skies, 10 miles visibility, taking off. Well, winds are 050 at 7. So got a pressure of 30-32 out there. Beautiful southern fall day. Bayou day. All right, let's go down here and see how bad it is in Dallas. I do know it's windy there. That I do know. 200, not out of 200 at 16, gusting up to 26. So this could be some fun arrivals today into here. So today would be a good day. We have few clouds to deal with around 3,500 feet. That's all they're talking about. 10 miles visibility. Temperatures reasonable for fall, 21 degrees, and 30-19 on the altimeter. So pretty, as I like to sometimes say, strap on those toupees. Folks, I see from Twitch we're going to a break. We'll see you in a moment. We'll see if that really happens. All right, but we're going to continue on because sometimes they just don't go to break. So, real quick, the loadout. We got 97 souls in the terminal right now, signing their NDAs that they won't sue me for how I fly. 22,310 pounds payload, split between those 97 souls and the baggage, for 115,000, roughly 500 pounds of zero fuel weight. We're going to stuff almost 13,000 pounds of fuel in it and run at a cost index of 27. So today's flight level is planned at 36,000, and well, looks like we got through the pre-brief pretty decently here. Now I do want to bring SimBrief in. Again, this is something I added down here using this little cog, tab manager. I added my nav graph up, and there it finally went to commercial. So we'll be continuing, but we hope to still be in this segment here when they come out here in about a minute. But anyway, for those of you who are subscribers, thank you. If you're still a follower and you haven't gone to commercials, how to get ad-free viewing, click follow and subscribe, and then you won't have to deal with the pesky commercials. Now, I've tried to limit them to 1 minute every 20 minutes. So, all right. But anyway, so we'll add it here. We can put NavGraph. That's the charts, folks. Great program. We'll talk maybe about it later. And then I've added SimBrief and this little tool called DATIS. Okay, with SimBrief, what we're going to do here, folks, is click View. I've already got it. It's actually already set up from the internet with the airline, and we'll talk about them too in a few. But here's our flight. I want to come down here to the weather. Let's try this. Departure weather. We'll click details. Now this is a generated flight plan. So if you just go in and just fill out the initial stuff, you may get the ATIS, and more than likely not unless an ATC is up with VATSIM. Or I should say, well, Pilot's Edge may not. I've heard they're pretty much just West Coast. Almost sounds like West Coast ATC called themselves Pilot. Anyway, I don't want to insult them. Not a part of them, so. Anyway, so here's the ATIS currently in play at Louis Armstrong in the real world. Currently, inbound aircraft from the northeast through the south will expect ILS to runway 2, Terrace arrival, and expect runway 11. Departing, be runway 2, which is odd with a wind, well, 050.
You love me! You really love me!
Hey, wait a minute, that's not who just... Insuik,
68 just subscribed for
back.
4
Haven't
months.
seen you in a
Hello,
while.
Mike.
Thank you for
Time
the
flies in good
resubscribe.
company. Smiley
Hope
face.
all is well with you, and you have a great day again. Thanks for the resubscribe. Sure love that. So we're going to be departing, as it says here, runway 2. Even though there's no ATC, technically, yes, you could take off on VATSIM in the grass if you want. However, if you have ATC, more than likely they're going to follow this. Not to say they will. We have run into where they were different. Okay, now over at DFW. Now, another way you can do this, folks, and I highly recommend you take note of this website. Hang on. I am going to grab this. I know I don't have it handy dandy here. And it's my DATIS site. Folks, the reason I say this is a really good tool to have in your box. Say you're flying, and I love to use this hypothetical, LA to Boston, long flight. A lot of things weather-wise can happen, 4 to 5 hour flight, correct? So if you go to this website, datis.cloud, that's spelled Charlie Lima, Oscar Whiskey Delta, India Oscar, you will be able to get what the ATIS real world is. So you'll have a little bit of a picture of the situation ahead of you. As soon as you're in the gate at LA, you could do this. And you start picturing how Boston is. You can maybe figure out how dispatch said to use runway 27, but it looks like they're using 15. So you can kind of watch that as you go across the country and see how that's transpiring. Maybe a front's about to come through. Who knows? But the point is you can get a little bit of an idea. So hang on, let's pull this back. Go to DATIS. This is what it will look like when you go to that website. Simply select your facility. Again, let's come down to where we're at. I believe they're on it. Yeah, they are. I thought that. Oh, I hit Minneapolis. I thought I went one off. All right, again, same thing, 040 at 9 as of this time, and so forth. Again, departing runway 2. And then some NOTAMs. Now, as we're getting into the weather, you can find out, and then we're going to find out in the wintertime, as airports report their surface conditions, that shows up here, folks. And then we can see just how slippery it really is on these runways and how accurately, hopefully, modeled Laminar has done that. Because I have been on some slippery ones. Anchorage last February, March timeframe, I think it was. We were on a slippery one there. And it's Anchorage. What do you expect? But other NOTAMs, this would be real world. Most of from here down, we're not going to worry about because they're not going to be out unless the controller makes you taxi a different way. So let's get a heads up on what's going in, like I said, into Dallas. All right, there we go. We got a departure and an arrival one. And you'll notice 2 different ones sometimes on VATSIM. This is why. So we're going to be on the arrival side. So currently, they do have the 190 at 17, gusting to 22. The rest of it, it's fairly close to what I read off on the METAR. Simultaneous visual approaches in play for 13 right, 18 right, 17 left. Landing runway 17 Charlie. Expect land and hold short at Bravo. I believe that's because 13 right's coming across it. So That right there tells us a lot. And that's 10,460 feet they're telling you available. You would put that into your calculations, folks, instead of, I forget what that runway is. It's one of the longer ones. You now only would have, unless you can't do it, you only have 10,460 feet of runway. Most planes can stop in that. Landing. Takeoff, that could be a problem. So they'll probably be on the departure zone. But then, and then landing 18 right up here, there's a land and hold short, 10,100 feet. Then it tells you 17 right's closed, la 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 la. And that's pretty much it. The rest of this, again, would be if the controller is going to follow this and say, okay, this is closed, this, so I got to taxi them like this. That does happen on VATSIM, folks. So, again, you're getting a little bit of a hour and 12 minutes away idea that, okay, we're probably going to be either on the 13 right or 17s, I believe, is on the east side of the airport. I always have to pull the chart up. Okay, so there we go with that. But this, folks, is one of those programs I really love, especially when I'm on long cross-country flights, taking off from the West Coast for the East Coast to start kind of getting a feel what I'm going to have, because I may have to change my arrivals. The weather happens, folks. So that's some of the fun stuff here with what we now have available with this. And then finally, I said we'd talk about it, NavGraph. All right, this, folks, is a great program if you're going to fly outside the U.S. and its territories, primarily Hawaii, Alaska, and Puerto Rico. Any of the others you may hit or miss that are American territories, but those for sure you'll be able to hit. If that's all you plan to fly, I would use SkyVector. It's free. If you plan to fly Europe, Africa, South America, Asia, I haven't checked Antarctica yet, and I don't know when I will. The islands out in the Pacific, any of that, anything other than just U.S. If you want to fly from New Orleans to Toronto, you might want to think about adding this on. Comes with, well, you first get your FMC license where you update your FMCs and your SIM through NavGraph. Well, then you can add for a small fee more charts. And what that does is give you the world of charts, and mostly Jepson, which are the better ones. Now, I think the FAA has some. Again, they would be more geared U.S. territory-wise. More information that might help too, but JEP really has a lot of, Jepson put a lot of information on those charts, more than what the FAA usually does. All right, enough of the plug there, shameless that is. We'll go to an import of SimBrief. There's our flight plan. And there's our flight. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and center us down here on good old Louisiana, New Orleans. All right, now, departing New Orleans, there are no departures. So we're going to follow, pretty much if ATC was there, a vector up to Alexandria, Louisiana, which happens to be the capital. Only reason I know that, I happened to spend 2 weeks there with the Air National Guard out of Ohio. All right, so again, and here's another thing about this. If you click departure, you're going to get the ATIS, in this case real world, but if VATSIM was up, you could click there. If Pilot's Edge was up, you could click there, and IVAO. So again, you have, this is a new feature. Hey, welcome in, Hawker. Hope you're having a good day. But really, folks, if you're going to fly abroad, and by abroad I mean New Orleans to Toronto, you're going to have a hard time finding charts for Toronto. you can get them real simple here. Or if you're going to fly Europe, like I said, the other continents. So, all right. But anyway, let's get back to the flight. Okay, so we're going to depart runway 2. I think we saw that somewhere with the D8s. And work it out from here. Now, over in Dallas, we're set up for 13 right. Currently, there's no ATC up. Currently. Now, I say that cautiously because I think we will see ATC blossom here in about an hour. About the time we're about to land. At least tower will be there, I think. Maybe approach. Maybe it'll be just a center. Don't know, but I got a feeling they're going to be there. So, we'll kind of hold off at this point. What we're going to do. We'll plan 13 right, but, well, actually, with the way the winds are going, let me see if I can pull a TAF here. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of Sim Toolkit from you guys. Yeah, see if I can get the TAF. And what the TAF is, it's a forecast, terminal area forecast. And I don't think, oh, yep, here it is. 18 to 24. Oh, what's going on? All right, I thought I had some changes coming again to me. All right, so from 1800 Zulu, which we're in effect now until 2400 Zulu tomorrow, we're expecting a south wind at 13, roughly 6 miles visibility at a minimum, and a few nuisance clouds at 25,000 feet. So beautiful flight. So I think what I'm going to do is switch up and head for one. I just pulled up the wrong chart. Hang on. For 17. Oh, now I got to look at this D8s again. 17 left. Okay, we'll do 17 center. Okay. Woo. That was going to be rough taxi. All right, well, we'll plan this for 1-3, I guess. We'll play with the crosswind. All right, so enough of that pre-flight stuff, folks. But there you have it. We're ready to go. Our taxi will be to runway 2. We'll get that in a second. Let's get this going because I know some people out there are kind of new to this plane and kind of want to know the big part of the plane, and that is right down here. The McDo's. Here and over here. All right, so where I am in the power up here, folks. Now, we do have power. Obviously, all the nice little bells and whistles are lit up here. I do believe, let me come over here. This is your EFB. It sits right by the pilot. So if you just pan to the left, you'll find it. Click weight and balance. Here you go. Now, I have 97 peeps. I'll show you how to load that in a minute. And I kept what was loaded in the cargo fields there. The only thing I haven't done is put the fuel in yet. So let's get down there and show that off. 2 ways to do that. My favorite way is right here off the center panel, or you can come up to plugins, down to ToLiss, and it'll only show when you've got the aircraft up, and then go over to loading, and then you can fill it out here. Okay. Ground services, all of that you can do from here. I'm going to go ahead and open and open. Show you what that did real quick. And as you see, the little animated guys, they come up, the doors open, and then they roll in and set their loaders up to load baggage. Sounds like real world. Normally I say cheesy, But that's actually done quite well here with ToLiss. All right, back to the cockpit. Okay, so let's put the fuel on. So we got two switches here, mech and attendant, ATT. Mechanic, you can control when you're on external power and chocks. Clicking plus through the pages, you've got a pushback here if you don't have better pushback. And then you come to your fuel. All you do is with these pluses, get up to as close as you can to what you planned in SimBrief. Mine is 12,929. I already know where that's going to end up. Right there, 13,000. If I drop down, it's 13.2 or 13.8. I'm going to err with 13,000. Oop, oop. There we go. Request fuel. Okay, and then close it. And yes, there's cheesy animation coming here too. Look, the fuel truck drives in. And clips. Huh, seems like my yesterday all over again. But anyway, the bag belt, and then we'll start fueling the plane. All right, and then you can watch the numbers climbing right here. Once we get to 13,000 or in that ballpark, it'll stop, and the fuel truck will drive away. All right, now I made mention to this. Here's your cargo. Now, when you're putting your plane together, first off, before you come to this page, go to attendant, page 2, and set up your passengers. Same thing using these plus or minus to get to the number you need. Hit load, unload, and then you can close it. Come over here to your weight and balance, click reset to current. So it's going to be what you have out there. Now you want your zero fuel weight as close as you can so your calculations are done right as you can. Lowering these numbers, folks, is going to be not an easy chore. So I leave them, if I'm in the ballpark, we're at 115,729. We are planning a zero fuel weight out of SimBrief of 115,481. I can live with 300 extra pounds. Okay. So I'll leave everything like it is. Cargo, I'm not going to mess with it because I'll mess that up. So we'll come back here. Oh, make sure I've got them all closed. Now, going through this again, you have pushback ability. You have refuel, ground handling. Oh, if you do change these, click load, then you can do it. You can also control the doors outside for the cargo bays right from here. And then you can request de-ice. We'll get into that later this year. Same thing with your attendant. You have the doors right here. You can arm and cross-check. You all know when that happens, when they close the door and start pushing back. There's your passengers. And you can adjust the lighting. I don't really ever see a change in the lighting back there. May just be me, but you could. But that's just going through there. So there's what you have available. You now have the airplane fueled and the people set up for the system. Okay, then you'd come up here in your checklist, hit your engine fire check. You all love it. And the APU. And the engine. My only criticism would be it's very difficult to see if the correct warning signs. Guys that know the Airbus planes, if you know how to do it, hey, I'd love to hear it. But the ToLiss, that is, how to make it to where I can check the panels and make sure the proper annotations are coming out. Okay, so now we're fueled. Moving on, let's fire up the APU. So click the APU master switch. come down here to the middle, we're going to actually see when the flap opens because it'll say it. Flap open, come up, click start. And again, you can watch the needles rise and all. Once they get up to 100%, guess what? Your APU gen automatically connects. I know you Boeing guys are going, well, I like flipping switches. Well, then go fly your Boeing. But in here, it's a nice, quick, easy, automatic deal that happens. The A330, I think we may have to do it. I haven't flown it in a few weeks, so we may revisit that bird here soon. But again, simple. Everything is kept pretty simple in this plane. There you go. See how it just came up? We got 115 volts, 400 hertz. Got good output from the generator, and it's available. So we'll come up here. Yep, we're showing avail. Do a couple more quick checks, which are down here. Make sure your spoilers are down, your flaps are up. I've got my transponder set to on, and I moved it just, you can go up to X-ponder. Once you hit the TAs, you're telling the towers and all ATCs if they're up, you're ready to go. Speaking of which, the heck's my call sign? $17.68. I forgot to come online. All right, now you can see we're online. All right, let me get back here. All right, so got these checks done. Got our radar, multi-scan GCS set, tilted 5 up just for some safety. Let's get back up here, do some basic checks, like fuel pumps on. Okay, coming down. Speed probe heats. Again, dark means it's set to auto. APU bleed on. Now we're completely internal. External power off. Air conditioning panel, I'm gonna set it in case we're not properly cooled off in the back. We'll stay norm. Yeah, we'll stay normal for this flight on the pack flow. Cross bleed is set to auto, and Gen 1, 2 lights are lit, and electrical panel lights are otherwise are off, except for we haven't disconnected from the actual unit out there. We're just, the aircraft switch is turned off. And the ventilation panels over here are set. All right, now one last thing I do. CVR. CVR stands for Cockpit Voice Recorder Test. Have I started the ACARS program yet? Unless somebody's logged in there, Hawker. No, you can't. But I can do the McDo. We're going to get the IRS going here in just a second. Captain Purse. Okay, the passengers have been told they can start boarding. Okay, turning on the ADIRS. Make sure you get the on bat, and then it goes off. What that's saying is when the engines, the main engine generators go out, you can still get your nav data from the battery, including if the APU, when you fire it up, if that generator won't come online. Okay, so we're in alignment. Going to status, and strobe lights are auto, nav light 2. Going to seatbelts on, smoking auto, emergency lights auto, landing elevation auto, pack flows. On a second, I lost where I'm at. Are as required. And fuel pumps are all on. Engine fire is checked. Let's come down. And our radios are set to the frequencies I want at this point. And we do not have any centers affecting us as of yet. I just looked on VATSIM. Okay, guess where we're at now, folks? The McDo. Dun, dun, dun. Here we go. Now, I do a quick reposition just because, don't say it, it's because probably OCD. But anyway, there we go. All right, so here we go. Here's what we got. That's our engines for the day, CFMs. I can hear the boos out there. Keep them to yourself. Active navigation. Ooh, I forgot about that. Okay, I'm not completely up to date here, folks. Hopefully good enough for the flight. I just totally forgot about that this morning. So you would see your dates. We just updated Wednesday, I think it was, Thursday, something like that. So yeah, I'm delinquent there. Okay, so click Init. Now you can start this off in one of two ways. Now I don't know if the real Airbus pilots see the Init page like this, where they can do the request here, or if they have to go to Data, Function, and do it from here. I'm going to just be lazy and do it from here. Why? Because I could just keep going from here. Init request. You're going to see your flight. And what it's doing is it's reaching out to SimBrief. Uh-oh. Why is it invalid? Let me go check something real quick. All right, I'm wondering if it's the mismatch. Bummer. All right, well, we're going to have to do it manually, folks. So let's do it manually. Bummer. KM.
Earliest traffic is 2973 heavy, taxiing runway 11, Bravo.
All right, we'll just turn that off for now, because people get too chatty on here sometimes. As soon as I get my normal channel up here. There we go. Alright, so KMSY, just as you see the formats, you're going to put departure, hash, or slash, arrival, KDFW. Well, that is a total bummer. Okay, don't have an alternate, alternate route, because we aren't getting it the way we were hoping to. Wonder if the performance is going to work then. A lot of interesting questions. Alternate for today is Houston. All right, our flight number AAL 1768. Okay. There it goes. All right, now, right here, folks, you can actually set your alignment up to where you're actually at on the airfield instead of just going by the airfield reference point, ARP. To do this, hang on, I'm zooming in, and I'll be doing this on another page. I'm going to pull the coordinates up for gate Bravo 15 or wherever it says is close enough to it. B12 through B16. Okay, now you can get this in charts, and I'm going to bring up the standalone version real quick. All right, so I'm in charts. This is not in the SimBrief. This is how you would download it from NavGraph. Okay, so I pulled it up, went to my arrival charts, taxi. Down here is the charts for the gates. There's where we are, and the coordinates, B12 through 16. This one's going to be easy to read. 59.6, cool. 90, 15. Hey, look, we are right on target, so I will click IRS here in a minute, but hang on, we'll put 27 in the box here. Cruise altitude, hang on, let me get rid of charts. Cruise altitude, where's my cheat sheet? 36,000. And we'll just take the defaults. Okay. I'm not going to go in and try and figure them out. All right. Align. And what that's doing is aligning on these coordinates that we've confirmed are for B15 where we are. Then we can click wind and request. And there's our current winds, and it's for each phase of flight. Oh, let's try it again. Okay, don't know why we didn't get a cruise wind. I wonder if that's because it's not loaded from SimBrief. Fun times at Ridgemont High today, folks. All right, so we have the first page. You guys are actually going to see how to do this without the init now request here. Okay, next up on my checklist is we go to F plan, flight plan. Think of it that way. Ooh, there's no route here. What do we do? Oh my. Folks, it's so easy, it's pathetic. First we'll do though is our departure. Runway 2, no SIDS, insert. Okay. Then we're going to go to AEX, and let me do this. That way you can see what we're doing. There's our runway 2 we just put in. Now our first fix is AEX. Put it right here with F plan. Next up is PNUTS. Think I'm lying. PNUTS. Yeah, it's 5 letters. That's why I was going, wait a minute, is it PNUTS? Okay. And that's it, folks. Insert. Ta-da! Next, DFW, arrivals. Like I said, we are going to try this 13 right arrival. So I'm pulling the chart up here real quick. Approach 13. Got to swing around and come in on it. Okay. Okay, so our star, RE2, our initial for our VIA is Moray, and we're going to be coming in from PNUTS. Okay, I tell you all I love this. Okay, we're using the BRE2 star. PNUTS is where we're transitioning from and through the star, BRE2, to Maury to the ILS 13 right. And then our ILS just aligned. IRS, I think I said ILS, my apology. Insert. And it's set. Now, the bad thing here is I don't know if we're going to, just going through it real quick. Okay, now this will deal with in the vectoring. Think of this, Boeing guys, as that word vector. Okay, you're vectoring to Maury from Hedman. Okay, it's coming down. I want to see how this populates. So I don't think it's going to throw my alternate in here. Oh, it did. Okay. If you wanted to, you could put the route in. Now, the American Airlines format, when you're setting up in SimBrief, will actually, when you generate it, give you that route. And you can fill it in. So, just something to ponder there, folks. All right, so let me back the truck up here. All right, and we'll do that. All right. All right, so most of our stuff came in on the 3-2. So I want to verify there's no discontinuities, except for the one we pointed out already. Okay. So there are no discontinuities. Perfect. All right, and then the blue here is our missed approach. Then you saw the end with us going to Houston. So let me bring up charts one more time. Get a real good look at it here. All right. So here we are, PNUTS. Here is all those fixes for it. We get here, we're going to vector over here to come in 1-3. If we have to go missed and go to our alternate, right down here. Pretty simple, huh? All right, let's move on. Next item, RadNav, right next to F-Plan. We're just checking to make sure nothing's errant. You know, up here, everything looks good. Then we move on to Init, back to the initial page where we started, but we go with the right arrow, one over, and we'll have to put our numbers in. Because it was not nice. 115.7. 115.7/ ZFWCG. It's right down here in your center of gravity. ZFW is 28.5. 285. Click. Fuel on board. 13 is fine. Click. And all your numbers will fill in and everything. Make sure everything looks good, that you can make your alternates and all, and we are going to be fine. Good. All right. Now, we're going to stay right here because I'm pretty sure it's not going to pull my takeoff data. We'll see, but I'm pretty sure it won't. All right, so now we head to the perf page. First, I always check my data. Okay, so I'm pulling up SkyVector, getting the METAR current in place. When 040 at 9, we're showing at 6. So we will 9. Okay, outside temperature in New Orleans is 22. That's good. Barometric pressure 27 here instead of 26. Anti-ice, we're not going to need it. 128.6 is good. 28.9. Now, here's the fun part of this page. You can check if you want to flex it. Flex means you're going to derate. You're not going to go 100% power on takeoff. You're going to pull back enough to get in the air, do your climb, get to cruise. We'll check both and see how we do. Configuration, and we're going to have air conditioning on. Compute. All right, what it's telling us, okay, here's runway 2, V1 will be in between here. Here's what we have to stop it. And guess what? V1 is the requirement that you should be able to stop it if you're not able to commit the flight. That's a little tight, but I want to see if it's going to do it, so we're going to flex it. But you can then come over here and click Toga and do it again. Notice how it brings, because now you're running at 100%. Got a big open area here, a lot of room to stop it. So many pilots would probably go for Toga. I just want to see how it does. So back to flex. Compute. All right. So let's try it. And it's gonna maybe. Said maybe. Again, let's make sure we get that right. It's 30.27. Okay. Wind. 040 at 9. Okay. Click. All right, so we are on a dry runway. Say it was wet. We could use the up-down arrows to go wet or contaminated, depending, what we got. So, all right. Here we go. All right, now this is Toga, folks. If we were to go Toga full power, this is what we would be dealing with. Oh, look at that. We got that. Flex. This is what we'll be doing flex of 68. So let's read down here. Flaps 1, flaps 1. Flex 68, 68. Now they're calling 131, 134, and 136, which is a little different than what we got here. I don't know them technically which one you go by. I'm going by this one because I think it's more connected to the computers on the plane. Hence, we are going to insert and 131, 134, 136. Now, Black Box 711, I think he is. If you wanted to take it down and he has the airport in his database, if you're in Europe, I check his site out. I'm not going to put it up there because I'm pretty sure this one isn't. But he has the formulas, I guess, built into his website for each of the airports he's actually flown into as an Airbus pilot. He's currently training to upgrade, so congratulations again to him. To really get the numbers for the aircraft even that much closer, we'll go with default. It's not going to hurt. And there you go, folks. Your McDo is programmed. All right, so rounding this out, folks, we are now ready to push back and start. Let me kick on my virtual American ACARS system. And if that's the ACARS you're mentioning, thank you, Jason, for the reminder. Not booked. Oh, never mind. Stupid me didn't read the middle word there. Specific stand booked. And start flight. Cool. And as you all know me too well, I have to double check the site to make sure we are actually broadcasting. Oh, dang it, they're down here. Oh, it's been a rough day, folks. Been a rough 48. Not overall good 48-hour shift at work. It just, it's just work. Sometimes just, it is what it is. And of course, the other downside is knowing you got to go back in tomorrow after only getting one day off. How you firefighters do that 48 on, and, I don't get it on a daily basis. I do not know. All right, folks, enough chitty chat. Let's get this bird in the air. Okay, push back and start procedures. All right, first thing I'm going to do before we even touch the checklist, come down here hit the mechanical page. First, make sure external power is available, not on, but shows available. Then I'm going to come down and deselect it. Okay, then auto, then close it. And there goes. Give you a little wide view of the plane as they just, and all they'll do, folks, is drive away to a certain point and then just disappear. Which, hey folks, that's great. That's the kind of animation I like. That's, if you're going to do this kind of eye candy, I like it. Go to the attendant. Same thing. Going to put the main door in auto. Watch it close up on the screen, because by the time I'd get to the other side, it'd already be closed. All right, so we're buttoned up. Couldn't pull the jetway up to the plane, so it doesn't matter. All right, so altimeters 30, what did we call it? 3027. And I do have them set to be synced. FD's on, turn the LS constraints just in case we have to return. Okay, then speed, make sure you got dashes and a dot, heading, dashes and a dot. What does that mean? It means it's in managed. So when you click autopilot, it's going to fly what's in the autopilot, what's in the FMC Big Do, however you want to call it. Next up on the checklist is the altitude. Set ATC cleared. Have ATC yet? No. Okay. So we're going to go up to 36,000. Well, I guess I could have checked. Well, we don't have a departure, so I can't check the initial altitude. Sometimes your charts, your SIDs, will have an initial altitude. We don't have one. So, guess what? 36,000, unless they say otherwise. Okay, next up, any skid. Right here, nose wheel steering is on. Switching panel. That's right here. Look, it even tells you switching. Make sure they're all 12 o'clock. Straight at the panel, the notch. And then come down to the transponder and get it set. And we are on too high. There we go. We're going to stay at 2000 till advised, and I'm going to stay on, actually I'm going to go to TA now. And radars stay off, but I've got multi-scan all slid over and up 5. Okay. One last check, parking brake set, and we are ready for pushback, folks. Here we go. Better pushback's what I'll use. But again, let me show it to you. Again, it's available in the plane. Second page. Pushing back. You set your distance. I believe meters. Hawker can let us know if I'm off on that, but I believe it's in meters. I don't really remember. It's been a long time since I've used it. So, I use better pushback. So for better pushback, you would have installed it into your plugins. Better pushback. You can pre-plan this right when you load the plane or when you...
Ground to cockpit. Please show me where you want to go.
Right here by clicking start. And we'll just and better pushback to me is a better tool. Because I can set it to push. And you can see what it's doing here. Wait a minute. There we go. All right. Clicking enter sets it. What it's going to do is push back straight for a little bit, and then it's going to make that nice wide turn and then pull up. These planes, it's not so important that you pull them up or push them back a little further. But like the 747, as we demonstrated, folks, that getting those axles, remember the middle axles, bogies, they call them, tilt or turn with the plane so they can turn tighter, less wear and tear on tires. There's 18 of them, folks, so that's a lot of money in just rubber on the plane. All right, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the chocks, or pull the chocks probably would be a better term. Mechanic chocks.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
Cleared to connect. And no, folks, it's not voice activated. Wish it was, although I probably wouldn't use it because I probably wouldn't know how to use it. Jetway's away. It never came up to the plane, so we're just going to let him push. He'll tell you when he's ready to go.
Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
Alright, one thing I did not check. Beacon on. Seatbelts, everything on. Okay. Just making sure. I'm down here. Brake off.
Starting pushback. And you may start engines.
Alright. If this was Southwest, we'd be cranking engines already. I'm going to wait till we at least get out of the gate area and start that wide turn. Okay, we'll start it now. Okay. To start the engines, right below the throttles. Well, I'm going to move them real quick. Okay, they do work. Go to the right one click, ignition start. Start number 1 this time first. And then we can actually watch it spool up. The goal in the engine start before you go to number 2 is right up here, available. Avail, I think, is what it'll say. Go ahead and just set this to F plan real quick. There's avail. So now I could start up number 2. It, by the way, is already on the generator. The only thing we'll need to do once we're done starting up is turn the APU bleed off. Very automated aircraft to some degree. Shoot. Guess what I just did? I think I killed it. I sure did. Doggone it. So used to 2, then 1, and I'm going to wait for it to spool down to fire it up. Let's go ahead and start up number 2. My bad. So we'll have to wait a little bit out here. In the interim, I am going to bring up X-Pilot so you all can see that. And it will also make it easier for me to know when TC becomes available, if it does. Go.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
Brake set.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
All right, we got avail. I'm going to give it every second here to reset. All right, let's go ahead, try number 1. Okay, you can see it spooling. Now, let's say you missed the word avail, okay? Or you think you did, because you're a streamer and you chat too much. I don't know someone like that. I'm sure you know someone like that. If you don't see this gray highlight here, then you're probably done. You can fire the other engine up or continue with checklist. If it's there, then you know you're still in the spool up process. Because like right now, I'm going to watch. Well, wait a minute. There's avail. I'm going to go ahead and start my timer. There we go. Then I'm going to swing my head over here. See my pins. Thumbs up. You can't see my thumbs up. So what I'll do, flash some lights at them. See ya. Thanks, and have a great day. Better push back. Thanks for flying with Mike. All right. And I hope that McDo, a little bit of that was a tutorial. One day I may just sit down and do one just on the McDo. All right. So now turn your mode switch back. Now, when we get to the end of the runway, say it's a rainy day, snowy day, we may want to put it back to ignition to be safe for takeoff. All right, so with that, we'll come up top here and do the APU bleed switch to off. Hope you took your Dramamine, because we're going to whip your head right back down here. Up with the spoilers, 1 notch of flaps. TARA, we'll just get that so we don't forget. One thing I do want to point out right now, folks, as you look at X-Pilot here on my screen, okay, you're going to see COM1, COM2 next to it, the frequency next to it, TX, RX. If you don't see it bold highlighted, guess what? Will not transmit, you will not receive. If you have like the second one, you would only be able to receive on COM2, not transmit. So make sure your microphone, which is this row here, don't worry about mech and attendant, they don't play into this, but they have to either at least COM1 and your speakers turned on, lit up. Okay, see if I turn it off. See how TX went away, COM2? So, anyway, big thing to check. That's that radio check. That's when you would, a great place to check it. All right, let's get back on Unicom, because we're getting ready to taxi. Ground spoilers, arm flaps, set to take off, pitch trim. Let's come up to the middle here. What I do is I pull out F/CTL. And it's going to show all your control surfaces and your trim. Up 0.4, we're already showing up. So let's just dial it up to 4. There we go. Put that away, put that away. Now, I just go ahead and check my surfaces now, folks. And if you from the cockpit can see the tail, you're a better person than most. You can barely, if at all, see the wings. So you've got to use this gauge here to help you. Every airplane has it in some place. Look for it, use it to make sure your surfaces are good to go. Because if they're not moving, you won't get the input you want. All right, deselect it. And folks, we're ready to go as soon as we turn that APU off. And then I'm going to come down and tell the attendants basically, and they're not going to respond, arm the doors and cross-check. Okay, we're ready to taxi. So all we got to do, come up here, turn on our elapsed time. 3 minutes is usually the warm-up time on this plane. If it's super cold, it may take a little longer. But it'll tell you if the temperatures aren't where it should be. What was I going to do? Oh, clear. Okay, so elapsed time is on. Do have a chrono here if you need it. Brakes, flight controls, we checked. All right, nav climb all set. Auto brake, max. Terrain, we can actually turn that on, and our radar. We are no longer facing to make people sterile. Radar panel down. And weather and turbulence. Okay. Next, we still got to get our cabin to check and TO takeoff test. So what we do for the cabin, okay, and it'll come back down. That little checklist there will now only need us to test the airplane, test config. If it passes, it goes green. If it fails, it'll bark at you what's wrong. All right, we're taxiing. Runway 2. See the way we're going to get there. Bring that up real, y'all. All right, you can see where we are. We're going to just kind of come around the horn, hit Sierra, right on up to, oh, wrong direction. Hit Sierra, go south to go north. That's our taxi brief. Let's go. Lights on. Three-position switch on your nose light. Take off, taxi. 3 positions on these. Retract and on. Extend, retract, and then on. So, not 100% ready with the radar yet, but we will be. And we're off. So, again, hope that little extra on the McDo helps you guys. Maybe with the help of Hawker, we'll do a more thorough, in-depth McDo setup, because there is another feature to it. And he kind of alluded to it, but I'm not sure if he was. The ACARS section of it, where you can actually connect to controllers and talk via it, which some of the crews actually do in real life, especially overseas. Crossing the ponds, crossing those radar, not controlled by radar, but by position report. Those areas you would have to talk via those infamous, lovely, oh my gosh, how do we format these position report type deals? Guys just did cross the pond, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Europe, I will tell you right now, there are a few controllers that do seem to use it. The US, I don't really find them using it. I don't know if that's real life or just VATSIM and they don't want that, like me. Oh my God, I gotta start another utility to be able to be on VATSIM? My goodness. So, anyway, it's there. I know the Microsoft Flight Sim guys, with those versions of the A320, I don't even know if they have an A319 over there. I don't want to know if they do. But they can actually connect to virtual American brigade assignment. All right, let's cross the runway up here, but not ours. We're paralleling it now. Up ahead is the old terminal. Kind of like the old terminal. Hey, times change, needs change, and I'm sure they downsized. Compliments of all the airline grabs over the years. Matter of fact, those of you curious, US Air used to be right in that concourse. Why do I know that? Because I used to run a virtual US Air organization. Flew into here quite a bit. And New Orleans Tower, American 1768's ready to go into the runway. Okay, I lied a little. Takeoff transponders, okay. Yep, Roger, clear for takeoff, runway 2. Don't know why the brakes didn't want to release. I was about ready to call maintenance. Hop out some way and go kick the brakes and say, release. Alright, again, hope y'all are having a great Friday. And thanks for spending part of it with us here at Flying with One. Well, that's interesting. Why isn't that oh, that's an edge line. Never mind. I figure, why is that center line not enhanced? Okay, get those strobers on. It's only on automatic, so if I was to have taken off, they would have came on in. It's like, alright, we're getting to where I gotta turn. Alright, again, remember we're flexing, so we're gonna eat some runway here. Alright, and park. Alright, I'm gonna get that nose light on. Alright. Maybe it says. One last check, everything good. Brakes off. Here we go. Still set. 50%. Again, flex. As soon as it says flex on your PFD, you're good to go. Let the throttle stay. PNUTS. Do your best to stay on the center line. Cross speed, speeds, cross check, good. E1. Rotate. Airborne. Aussie ring, hero. Alright, there you go, folks. We're airborne. Now that yellow is just this. The predictive wind shear is still off. I didn't turn it on. And right now, go into levelized climb. Make sure it says throttle climb. Goes down a little. Roger, left turn 270. Try the other. See if now. Final checks here after takeoff. Engine mode's normal, anti-ice at 18,000. We'll click standard 10,000. We'll get the lights off and continue our climb up. Folks, we are pretty much done. As soon as you get past your S speed on here, you can bring the slats up. Amazing. It says slats. Correct. Alex. And that's why I have that there real quick, folks. That way I can keep this on my F plan. It'll tell me I've got 87 miles top of climb. Once we hit top of climb, it'll tell me how far to top of descent. This I can pull up, hit direct, or whatever I need to check things. And through 6,000 feet now, folks. But again, I hope you're having a great Friday, and thanks for spending some of that time with us here at Flying with Mike. If you're new, hey, I'd love you to hit that follow button, folks. That way you'll be able to follow us on our next adventure, and that will be Monday, most likely, followed by Wednesday, and I'm hoping Wednesday and Thursday next week. We'll see how that all works out. Wednesday will be more than likely even more of a delayed start. I have training at work, followed up by an appointment here. So once I'm through with the appointment, we'll get things rolling. We'll get all of that out over the weekend, so you all know what's going on. But again, thanks for flying with Mike. And the A319 is now through 10,000 feet. Lights can come off outside. I'm going to leave the wing lights on till about 18,000 feet or thereabouts, but everything else will stay on otherwise up here. Seat belts when we hit top climb. All right, but again, thanks for flying with us today and taking some time to check us out. We've got about I don't know, what's it saying up there, about an hour to Dallas-Fort Worth, and we're going to plan, unless ATC comes up and says, 13 right. I've actually never landed on that runway, so that ought to be fun. All right, I mentioned we're flying for Virtual American. First off, because of the way Stream Elements is just being such a pain in the butt, even though they're not even modded to the site, they still giving us troubles. I have to do links that way. Here's a link to Virtual American, Virtual Airline. I'm kind of glad I caught that, so the next time I do it, it'll be correct. Virtual Airline. Oh, I got it. Virtual, I get it now. If I read the sentence, it makes sense. That I'm flying for is Virtual American Airlines. The management team over there may not like it when I put it this way, but folks, before you rush over to them, okay, and join up, because Captain Mike here is with them, due diligence is required here. Look at the documentation. Look at some of the rules. Can you, as a pilot, do that? They are very particular with landing rates, very particular with aircraft engine types, aircraft paint schemes. I mean, it's a very particular airline. Everything's got to be so. But if, you know, you're into that kind of level of scrutiny, great airline, great bunch of people. If you're not, you may, and I would kind of recommend, might want to look for someone else, because it can get very frustrating, especially new pilots. I really don't recommend new pilots to them. It can get very frustrating and turn you off flight sim real quick when you join other VAs and you find out, okay, I can do this now. So be warned. That's all I'm going to tell you. Be warned going into this one. I worked for a bunch of other virtual airlines, less strict. We fly for them here. We point those out. But if you love that level of scrutiny on your flights, check them out. See if they're what you like. Their sister airline, Piedmont Virtual, is historic. And you can fly some flights there, too. So, but anyway, check them out, folks, if you're into it. Now, we just crossed 18,000 feet. I've already got the main lights off when we went by 10. Let's go ahead and turn the wing lights off. And again, seatbelt when we hit top of climb. So, I really, I would love to see some pilots from Flying with Mike there, flying with me from time to time with Virtual American. But I understand that level of scrutiny on a lot of pilots is rough, because a lot of them can fly the airplanes, but getting those landing rates into their numbers, even I have a hard time, folks. And I've got thousands of hours on VATSIM and thousands of hours in flying on the sim. Folks, I've been flying on the sim since I believe it's 99. So I've been doing this for a long time. I was flying on SATCO. I was flying, then VATSIM when it became VATSIM. So I've seen a lot. I haven't seen as much as some of you out there. Some of you been here all the way back. Now, I did play with the very first version of Microsoft's Flight Sim way back in the 80s. Or was it the 90s? Anyway, way back when it was just X's and O's for a runway. It was very, that's graphics back then, folks. And then it evolved into what you see today. So I've been around for quite a while, and aviation is a passion for me. And the fact that I can at least fly on the sim is that much better. Really wish I could have gotten in as a commercial pilot and flew that way. Oh, long story I don't want to bore you all with. But it's not that I did anything wrong. It was mentally a problem I had with the check ride. And shouldn't have let it get to me like it did, but it did. So that's the long story short. All right, so we're now through 26,000 already. Let's take a look outside. Now, I can already hear people yelling at me, "You're gonna put the IAE engines on it." I like the CFMs, guys. But those flaps that open up the reverse thrust, I just like them. I've heard some of the mechanical problems with CFs, and I've heard a whole lot of things, folks. An airplane to me. I just happen to like the CF engines on this one. Rats on others. So, but yeah, there you have it, folks. By the way, they're the same diameter engine, just a cow is only one. Unless you're flying to the end. All right, hang on a second here. I think I've turned ATC down, and I need to turn them back up so I can hear them in case they do come up. All right, Okay, we're now through 29,000. We stand 45 minutes out. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the arrival brief, even though we haven't reached the top of climb, because it's going to get to us fast. All right, real quick here, folks. Not a lot to get into. Again, we're planning 13 right. Still don't have Dallas at all in any capacity up. So let me get rid of Louis Armstrong. See us on the
48 Skywards 48 Bravo, midfield right downwind, 24 range, full stop.
you can see us here coming up towards Alexandria, then over to PNUTS. PNUTS is where the star actually starts for the Marie 2 arrival. All right, and speaking of it, here it is. Let's start up here at the top real quick. Again, obviously, Dallas-Fort Worth is a D-ATIS, so that site that given at the beginning, folks, phenomenal. You could look at it right now and find out, am I still good for the 13s? Let's find out. I'm looking at it right now. Simultaneous approaches. 13 right, 18 right, 17 left, and landing, if you're landing 17 center, expect land and hold short. Landing 18 right, land and hold short at taxiway Bravo. That is because of the landing runway we're going to be on. They don't want you to hit us. And that is, and the reason we selected it, that's what they gave us in SimBrief. Of course, we could change it. All right, let's see if there are any notes here to go into. But anyway, D-ATIS, so if you see that there and you're in the U.S., look it up on that D-ATIS site. Regional approach, there you have two. Airport's at 600 feet above sea level. It's an RNAV 1 approach, so we got to have DME, IRU, or GPS. And our transition, go figure, 18,000 feet. Okay, it's required. Radar. Jet aircraft only. Turboprops, I don't want to find you on my route, or I'm going to fly right on you. No. Only for use when Dallas is operating south flow. Does that include 13? Yes. Get to that. I just happened to catch it. Okay. Here's how I caught it. 13 left, 13 right, 17 left, center right, 18 left and right. All considered south flow. By the way, that's our runway right there. Okay. So how do we fly this? Okay. Routing from Marie. We're already halfway into it, folks. So let's start at PNUTS, Clues, Popsy. Okay, there is a transition for Popsy, but that's only by ATC. Oh, Popsy's back here. Uzzy is at least 24,000, but below 30. And have to be at, big word folks, if you don't understand it, go watch a video, New York approach versus JetBlue. You'll learn how important that word is. It's not a VATSIM encounter, it's a real world encounter. Then we go on to Marie, 280 knots at, so again, at 280, 23,000 to 20,000, continuing into Bells. Again, still at 280, 17,000. You see the altitude restrictions. I'm not going to read them off, folks. This is not kindergarten. Unless my granddaughter is listening, but she's still preschool. If she's listening in kindergarten, yay, kid, going, beating the odds quicker. TAC, DUTS, or DEETS, that one is something we will focus on. 12,000 at 210 knots. You're not even below 10,000 and you're slow. Pretty slow already. And that's because of sequencing, folks. This is the whole reason for this is to sequence all that traffic descending on Dallas to funnel into all of these runways. Hoot and Heidman. Now, seeing if any of them, and then we'll track 356, and then they're going to vector us around for 13 right. Okay, we're going to be doing the ILS 13 right. 13 right real quick. By the way, we have leveled off DATIS, regional, towers, depending where we're at, ground, depending where we're at, and then here's where we get into the approach. Okay. The localizer for this runway will be automatically set in the McDo, so we won't have to physically set it. We will just make sure it's set. 1095, there's the call letters, and that the front course, F course, is 135. At Haddocks, 7, we'll call it 7 DME, we got to be at 2,300 feet on glide slope. Now, this is a special CA1. Our minimums are 741 or 150 feet AGL. 741 feet MSL, 150 feet AGL. So think MSL. Okay, think of it right here, folks, as your, I don't think you're seeing that. Hang. There you go. This area right here. AGL is your radar altimeter, which will be right in here. Okay, so that's what we're talking about here. So it's either 741 MSL, mean sea level, or above sea level. 150 in the parentheses for AGL, or above ground level. Folks, it's the very same dot in the sky. By the way, tower did come up. Okay, airport elevations, missed approach. I hope you all have been reading that because we're moving on. All right, so we're going to go to Maury, Papa, Haddocks, right in for the runway. Missed approach is going to send us out to slot to hold. Direct entry. Very direct entry, by the way. And we're going to hold at 3,000 feet. And then we'll eventually be vectored back for whatever runway they want us on at that point. Okay, Maury, at or above 3,000. Papa, start thinking about being at 3,000. But again, 2,300 here at Haddocks, descending in. We're going to probably be about a 130 approach speed. So I'm going to say it, let's put it at about 710 feet per minute-ish in that ballpark. And then Malzer and Pappy's. Pappy's will be on the right side as we come in. I'm sorry, left side. Your missed approach. Minimums one more time. 741 feet MSL, 150 feet AGL. RVR above 14. So if there's no RVR reported, we don't have to worry about it. If there is, it's got to be higher than 14. Okay, there we go, folks. There's your approach brief, chart-wise. All right, let's transition to, well, let us get into this a little. Let me take a look here at VATSIM, see how things are going. Let's kind of take a break here. as we're flying along. We're not coming offline or anything like that, folks. We're just going to allow things to come on. Let me see how far we're showing to top of descent. 171 miles, perfect. I will be right back. I do need to use the lavatory. Be right back. All right, folks. Sorry for that little delay there. Oh, I needed that. And on top of it, I've got a headache that's just pounding away pretty hard. So, it kind of makes for fun, you know what I'm saying? But welcome to Flying with Mike. Really appreciate you taking time out. Check us out. Be a part of the family here, Flying with Mike. And by the way, if you do like what you see, smash that follow button. We do have a YouTube channel. And if you're wanting to, if you've missed anything or want to see one of our past broadcasts, check us out over there, folks, and like us and subscribe. We'd sure love to have you as part of that family. Okay, so in the ensuing time, Dallas has come up. They are with their ATIS still saying, just like the real world, 13 right. And 18 right, 17 left, whatever it was. I don't even remember the runways. I know we're going to be okay. I hope. All right, so let's start getting into the setup. Well, wait a minute. Stand by. Let me, I'm sorry for the knee jerk here. Let me come back here. We are 121. Perfect. All right, so let's check into our landing performance, sorry. Sky Vector I need for this. And all I'm doing is checking to see which one we have. 1953. Good. So we have the latest, greatest information. So 180 at 16, temperature 22, 3013, dry and off, yeah. And air conditioning will be on. How long's 13? Yeah, we'll go medium. And then, yes, we'll use reverse. Okay, compute. So, here you have it, folks. A lot of runway. As expected. 128. So, I told you, 130 was what we were planning. Pretty close. So, all right, so let's, we'll give it a couple seconds. We just went to break. We'll get that 30 seconds and show them all. And we'll go from there. Our radar here is terrain looking pretty good. Some little hills and valleys down there. But we should be coming out here in the next 10 seconds. Oh, great. We have 2 towers. Oh, no, we don't. Scratch that. Bad mic. One's for Dallas Love. One's for East Dallas, Fort Worth. So 126,550. All right, welcome back, followers. We appreciate you as always. Thank you so much for being a part. Let's do this now, shall we? We're now 107 miles out, so we're going to start in on this. As we were telling the subscribers, I didn't catch you had gone to break. The METAR is the current METAR in play there. We're going to still plan 13 right, 180 at 16, our temperature 22, 3013. It's all right down here and it's all translated into here. We're planning to land with the air conditioner running, brakes at medium instead of low. Actually, we could go low because when we compute, it's just going to move it a little further down, a little closer to where we need to get to the C concourse, Charlie concourse, and we will be using reverse thrust, hopefully. And there you go. Landing required 3,700, field 5197. So there you have it, folks. All right, with us now 90 miles out, I'm going to go ahead and start filling in the McDo. So we got a pressure 30.13. Have to enter it that way if you're going to do inches. Otherwise, translate it to QNH. I don't know how to do that, so we'll do it 30.13. And it accepts it. 22 for the temp. Our wind, 180 at 16. Yeah, I know you're all going, why don't you just suck it up there, Captain, and just come in on the 17s? I just don't feel like changing a lot of things, that's all. Now, I've been reading a lot on this. How do you factor the gust? Because actually now the gust isn't showing here. Is it showing in the actual METAR? I thought they had gusty winds. I guess that's over. So you could factor that in, folks. But I haven't, I'm still trying to learn. That was something they never taught me when I got my private pilots. So we just kind of sucked it up, Buttercup. Just kind of grab it and work it and slip it and you'll get right in there. But there's actually a way to do it, formulate it so you know how to set up for better. I know them dang barnstorming days back in the start of flight. No, I was not back that far, folks. All right. So now we decide here from charts what we're going to use. Let me bring charts in again. Okay. Let's go down here to, I'm actually going to bring up a different chart. Just a plain old ILS chart. Okay. Now here we're getting about we get times on it and all that good stuff. Reason I did this, okay, we said the RVR of 18, half mile. Here it's saying 200 or 791. Since we're not really in any kind of weather that would warrant us to be on that special Cat 1, let's use this one instead. It's all the same data up here, it's just we're not in that special stuff where we can drop stuff. All right, so 791 MSL, that would go to your MDA, and I key on the M, that's your arrow one. DH, AGL, that's what's in brackets, 200. So we'll go 791. Now you're all going, but that is a high decision altitude. No, it's the same point, folks, in the sky. Remember, one measures from sea level, the other measures from the ground level. So the fact that, you know, the airport itself is 606 feet above sea level helps push it up, or very close to it. I think I'm over. But still, you get the point. 607. Well, I missed, you know. Oh my. Oh me. So you get how that difference works. So, and then we're showing an approach speed of 128. Here we're showing at 127. Oh my gosh, we're going to have to cancel the flight, folks. Just way too much of a disparity here. Of course not. Go ahead, go back to New Orleans. Sorry, folks, you're going to have to find another way over to New Orleans. We can't go in. There's a knot difference. We'll suck it up. Oh my gosh, airplanes would never get anywhere if that was a wrong button. That disparity was allowed. All right, so there you have it, folks. So there were planned here. Landing speed is 122. We'll be full flaps, and we'll come in at about 128, 130 down the ILS. As long as they don't change it on us. All right, and actually I'll be set up on it, so unless approach comes up, tower can't technically control us. This is VATSIM, and VATSIM, some funny things can really happen. All right, so we are inbound. We are now 62 miles out. So let's begin getting our descent checks done or started, and we'll be ready for when we do it. So we've already got the McDo set up, McDo performance set up. Let's get the winds set up. Now you can actually do this in flight, folks. You could go here, right side, click, wait, wrong one, sorry, back up. We'll click POPSI. Access wind data. Do a wind request. Why is it not working? Or we can go data, function, function. Oh, we don't have any data. So, all of that because of something going on between the airplane and SimBrief. I'm going to have to read and figure out if I got to put my numbers back in. Maybe I screwed them up somehow down the road. But that's how you could do it, either here by clicking here, click wind data and fix it that way. Or like I said, data, function, function. And then if we have a star, that means there's data. Let's try something. Let's go to ATC COM. I'm sorry, McDo, ATSU, AOC, weather, DFW, click, METAR. Back. Okay, we got that. That's weird. And there it is, folks. Now they're saying at 2053, 170, 14. Now there's the gusts. And what I was told is you take half this number, add it to this. It kind of still confused the living you-know-what out of me. So, there you go. And I believe it will be on the printer down here. That's one thing I've also not learned how to do yet, folks, is how to pull it up. So probably something so simple, I'm going to bury my head in the sand for eternity. No. But anyway, that was takeoff descent. Now you can see just entering the nav display. We're set at 40-mile range, the top of descent. This hockey stick pointing down is your top of descent. So within 30, we could actually start it. I'm going to go ahead and come off LS constraints. Real quick, see what kind of airports are nearby. None. Okay. LS constraints. Okay, it is showing up the correct frequency. We'll double check here in a minute. And okay, so 20 miles out, altimeter we'll set at 18,000. We'll get the landing lights on, ND and constraints. Okay, and a couple more miles. Let's come here, do a rad nav, ILWN. ILWN, front course 138, is it? 35. All right, slope, everything else looks good. $28 to go. Hey, Matt, how you doing? Matt, 1997 Air, welcome aboard. Hope things are going well for you. We're about to come into Dallas, and I want to check up here. Yeah, we don't have any other than Dallas Tower. And I never let my peeps out of the seat, so we don't have to worry about that. All right, we are just about inside the 20-mile mark where we could technically start this descent. So, now, the neat thing about the Airbuses is the managed descents. What it is the aircraft computers working with what the outside around the actual airplane, not what dispatch is telling it, reach that point, and then it manages the speed by the amount of descent we do to match the speed or the descent points along the way. One thing we did not check on, and I'm going to do that real quick here. 12,000 at Dietz. It's there. Okay, hard altitude. Good deal. All right. All right, so we're now within. Let's start our descent to, let's start it for 24. Manage descent, you got to push. On the dot, just like you have it here. And then it's going to start the descent. If you don't think you're going to make it, switch into an open descent by pulling the knob out and then set your vertical speed. Okay, I blew this one up for a reason, folks. Show you some of the what's on here. Okay, there's a VOR, I believe. We'll double check here with. Yeah, that's a VOR. Then hang on a second. Okay, so that's a VOR. This squiggly line. Okay, so currently, folks, you see us descending at about 1,000 feet a minute, 260 on the speed. Okay, when we reach this point, we are now where the computer predicts we're on path to make 24,000 or 30,000 by Muzzy, as per the arrival. Now, I wanted to make 24. It's going to set it for 30. All standard rates, 75 Mach, all of the economy stuff so that the airline tries to break even on these flights. And you all want to sit there and go, well, they're making money hand over fist. Okay, do the math. Got a 160 seat aircraft or whatever American sets it up to. At least 160 because I know that's what Allegiant's A319s run. Okay, put a number out there, $100 a seat. Make it simple on yourself. Okay, boom. Well, we only have 97 on this one, but, you know, fill a plane up. Okay, from that number, the airline has to pay for the lease or the mortgage on it. The fuel, ouch. The labor, ouch, ouch. Maintenance, ouch, ouch, ouch. So they're prepared, if this plane breaks, to put another engine on it if it needs it. Folks, you find out it's a pretty tight margin. Especially when you only have 97. Now, if you got a full plane, that helps. If you have cargo, that helps a little more. But these planes aren't really geared for cargo. But still, it's a tighter margin than a lot of you want to believe. And then throw in those guys like Allegiant, Frontier, Spirit, cutting the rates. it's tough on the big guys because now they've got to cut rates and they've got a lot more overhead than the others. So, but anyway, we're not in here for politics or financial class. Here to go fly. Now, this hockey stick right here is where we'll make it to 24,000. But we still got a bit. Let's see where it ends up. We're below the 30 mark. Here comes the green dot. That's what we're looking for with that squiggly line. That is between the top part of this and the bottom part of these numbers. And it's there. So we're coming down now 1,700 feet a minute. I'll be honest, and this is going to blow Hawker's mind, so medics might be standing to respond to his house. Either one doesn't. I don't really have a preference. I find Airbus very easy to fly. Boeing, a little more complicated. But there are things about Airbus, maybe because I don't know, that I don't... that kind of make me like, well, why is this giving me this warning? How come I can't see that warning? Or why is it, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't necessarily fully tell me what's wrong with the plane. Boeing doesn't either, but they do a better job of it. So to me, they're both really good planes. I prefer flying the Airbus on the sim, but I know a lot of you all prefer Boeing. Uh-huh. But I love that, Hawker. But I mean, I actually enjoy these things. I'd been away from them for quite a while, came back to them and forgot just how fun they are to fly. And they're just so, I mean, they're just, flying approaches is like so simple with them. Yet, I know, so many times I botch a landing. And welcome back to our followers. The question out there, do I prefer bus or Boeing? You heard some of it, but basically, I really don't have a preference between the two. They're both just, they're great airplanes. And I'm not trying to be politically correct, so Boeing doesn't come after me or Airbus. But, weren't supposed to do that. I have to click it again. But no, they're both equally enjoyable to fly. I kind of prefer Airbus because it is more easier to fly, in my opinion. Boeing gets a little complicated in a few areas, and that could very well be sims. So, and you've seen them. I fly the 747. That's a nice, complicated airplane. But I also fly Zebo. Well, Hawker, appreciate the vote of confidence there for the real thing. I don't see it happening. Not at my age. Your age? Get your pilot licenses. You could sit left seat. Could. But you may have to suck it up and fly a bus. Alright, so let's get into this. We got to get our descent down right because 12,000 is where we're headed. Alright, so 12,000 by Dietz. Just make sure we don't have centers up. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and set frequency here, 126,550. And I am going to be that guy to mess with the tower, probably. Or he's going to mess with me, one of the two. Alright, now I've heard through a little birdie called Spyflight that tonight's Friday night operations FNO for VATSIM, the DC area, I believe. I could have misread, but I thought he said DC. So if you're into and you want to fly, I won't be, folks. I got a 24 hours staring me down yet again tomorrow. So I will not be able to participate in that. But yeah, the DC area airports will be alive tonight. Oddly enough, Spyflight, if you're not familiar with, his stream flew into Dallas about 30 minutes ago. Hence why I think we have this controller. But we'll find out. Okay, there's 18,000 coming up. What did we say? Let me glance over here. 3013. Wait a minute. I think we got a different one. Hang on. I thought I saw 20. Yeah, 2053 is 3011. Okay, altimeters are set. Wing lights on. Okay, here we go, folks, making the push for 12,000 at Dietz. And, but yeah, I overall don't really have a real honest-to-God preference. These are just so easy to fly. That's really why I like it. Especially with the fences on. What's that mean, fences? Your wingtips, the little ones. When they have the sharklets, people call them, that look like shark fins on the wings. They, for some reason, for me, want to hover instead of get on the runway. So these fences, I seem to, it really, to me, seems to help me out. I know, it's all about me. So Hawker, I hope we were able to help you out, especially because I know you are a brand new bus driver, Airbus driver. And like I said, I'll work on trying to figure out how to do a good tutorial on it. And I'll probably, folks, put that up direct to YouTube just because it's a lot easier and it won't go away over time. It'll just stay up there until I say delete, which I haven't deleted anything yet. Okay, we're coming down through 14, looking at my arrival. We're hitting the marks pretty good. Speed-wise, let's see, we're supposed to be at 280 attack, boards at 260. Now, we're going to show a feature here in a minute. I'm going to put some caveats, and that's this activate approach phase. Don't be quick to activate it. It doesn't mean that's what's going to make you start your descent. As in Boeing, when you hit descend now, that is not that kind of switch. All it's going to do is put you on the approach page. I know it seems kind of stupid, kind of silly. But it's going to also, if you're in managed flight like we are right now, slow you to this F speed, 142. So if you do that at top of descent, that whole descent is going to be at 142 knots. which could be actually stall speed. So you'll see how I recommend it here in a minute. I recommend first getting into you controlling the speed. So you pull the lever out and you can go up and down on the speeds. Once you can do that, folks, then you can activate, because it won't take you direct to 142. It'll just switch you to the approach page. That's all it technically will do. All right, you can see we've already switched to where we're slowed to 250, which technically, well, actually, technically incorrect. We should be at 260. So if you've seen that video, I would be one getting a talking to. All right, we're going to go ahead and take control. Coming up on 12,000, we'll let it level off, because you can see what we have to do here, folks. Here's Edmund, our final fix of the star on the page. From there, it's vectors. We got a vector around to our initial. So I do want to have some altitude, because that'll be at least 20 miles out, so we'll stay above them so we don't interfere with arriving traffic to the south runways, the 18s, the 17s. All right. And Dietz is 210. Not 220, not 211, but 210. We're very close to green dot. Now, green dot on your speed over here is your flap speed, when you technically can introduce flaps. 230 is the maximum speed to put flaps 1 on. There's the green dot just below 200. Now I'm going to kind of hang up, like I said, and then we'll start our descent down to 3,000. We're going to come across the 1718 approach, work our way to 13. And of course the tower is going to be not probably happy. That's the way SimBrief wanted it. That's the way we're going to fly it. And we're dragging our feet on top of it, but if he knows the chart, he shouldn't have a problem with that. And that didn't do what I was hoping, so we'll do it from here. 13 right, just making sure I'm not being being wrong here. Now let me kind of take a look at situationally where we're at here. It's a little behind. Okay, we're actually cutting up in between the two airports there. Dallas Love is off our right. DFW off our left. Now I am going to begin our descent. We'll come down to 8,000. I'm going to go ahead and manage that. I want to make sure we come down at a decent rate. We might even see DFW. Yeah, it's right back here. There's the concourses we're heading to. We'll be landing over here. Alright folks, we are beginning our approach in here, 10,000 feet. Guess what comes on now? You guessed it. Lights are on. Alright. Final call to the flight attendants to get the cabin prepared. Go ahead and put some heat in the cabin. I got a feeling it's probably chilled. It's in the upper 60s. They'll live. Look here situationally. Why am I contacting you out here? Oh my goodness. Way out of his field of control. This is where I get tired of VATSIM. Fort Worth Tower, American 1768, 15 miles north of the field, going north. Contacting per you.
American 1768, American 1768 Dallas Tower. Are you planning to land on 17 Center?
Negative, sir. We were planning 13 right, and we were going to contact you over there. Are we having a runway change?
It'd be faster for you to tack. You have a lot shorter tacks here if you landed on 17 Center.
Alright, we'll set up our aircraft for 17. Okay, if we just keep going north till we get things set up?
Yeah, sure. Call me when you turn back inbound.
American 760 or 1768 will do.
American 1208 is on the
Aggravates me they do that because he's not familiar with it. Oh, then don't put it in your ATIS. Sorry folks, it just kind of irritates the you-know-what out of me. Alright, well let's reconfigure the aircraft here. Alright, so we'll go 17 center. Hang on, I gotta get new charts and brief everything. Oh my goodness. Gotta love these controllers. Sometimes I wish they were pilots. So Bossy is out there. We'll go ahead and go via Bossy now. Insert. Okay, stand by. We've got to clear out the LS. Ten 3. 110-3. FLQ. Let's get in here and do a RadNav check. That needs to be 176. Alright, so we're switching up runways. Now we got to do a performance reconfiguration. Alright, let's see folks what's involved here with doing this. We're just going to continue north way out. Shouldn't have had to, but welcome to the world of VATSIM. 17 center. Checking my numbers. 3011. have this one? No, not on this one yet. Okay, so 3011, temperature, A2, winds 70 and 14. All right, so there we got our new numbers in. Does that look right? A second. I think so. All right, so we're calling 128 still 127. Everything else looks good. Wind, no, we got to change the winds. 70, diagonal 14, 30 dot 1. And let's see what our minimums are now. Oh, it's aggravating, folks. Very aggravating. 110.3, 176, and we're looking at 762 now. All right, well, now we gotta kind of bring this sucker about. Oh, let's see. Let's bring it about, say, 240 for now. Not even really sure where we are now in reference. Going to go ahead and set it up for 180. Initial altitude. Bossy 6,000. So, oh boy. All right, so we're coming around here. Hey, out of. So, one more time, we won't get to play on it.
Digital aircraft, DFW, DFW tower is not closed, DFW tower is not closed. Radio com 122.8, thank you guys very much, y'all have a good one.
Say American 1261 over the house.
Oh boy. All of that. Making me have to do all of that again for nothing. All right, well, you know, I guess how the cookie crumbles. Irritating as can be. DFW traffic, I just heard tower went offline. We are now 20 mile final, 17 center. Are they?
I'm going to 3314.
Fort Worth Tower, American 760 or 1768, approximately 20 miles from the airfield, 17 center.
American 1768 DFW Tower, contact me on a 7 mile final.
Copy, 7 mile final now, American 1768. Concerned we're not picking up the ILS yet.
DFW Tower, American 1261. Sorry about that. I thought you guys were going offline.
American 1261 is the new DFW Tower. Are you getting ready to depart 17 right?
We're going for 17 right if that's possible. Or, correction, 17 center.
Roger. American 1261, you can cross runway 17 right at Echo Foxtrot.
17 right, Echo Foxtrot, American 1261.
Envoy 3314, departure frequency offline, frequency change approved.
Alright, over to Unicom 12218. Thanks for your service. Have a good afternoon. Envoy 3314.
Well, I've made enough snide remarks here, folks. I'm just gonna... Anyway, we're coming down the approach, and, oh well, not much we can do about this. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead. Again, slowing.
Fort Worth Tower, American 1261, ready for departure, runway 17 center.
American 1261, wind 170 at 14, gust 23, RNAV to T-Rex, runway 17 center, clear for takeoff.
RNAV T-Rex, 17 center, clear for takeoff, American 1261.
That'll get us slowing. Instead of using speed brakes, we'll just put the gear out. Okay. Alright, folks, let's refocus, get this thing on the ground. Sorry we couldn't do an approach brief with you. Well, what we planned and briefed, of course, changed. Welcome to VATSIM. Runways in sight. Now we're going to slow to 130. next layer of flaps. Okay, brakes are set. Flaps are beginning to set. Runway definitely in sight.
American 1261, departure frequency offline, frequency change approved.
Unicom, American 1261, thanks for the service, take care.
Flaps 3. Full flaps. Alright, final check here. Altitude set. We'll go ahead and set it for 3,000. Oh, wait a minute. It is missed approach. 3,000. Tower American 1768 now. 8 mile final 17 Charlie.
American 1768, DFW Tower, wind 170 at 14, gust 23, runway 17 center, clear to land.
17 center, cleared to land. American 1768. Right, last check, lights are on. All green, full flaps, brake set, gear down, 3 green. Spoilers armed, okay. Plane's mine. Said if we could maintain about a 700 or so descent rate, we're good. It's a little harder. Stable.
Above. 300.
Okay, we'll be going by visuals.
Minimum 200.
Glide slow. Alright, got the touchdown zone. Those engines flared up. Did you hear them?
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. 10. 5.
That was a little harder than I wanted, but reverse, idle, brakes off. I hate this about ToLiss. Those wheels just go sometimes. Tower American 1768 off at Echo Juliet Charlie Terminal.
American 1768, taxi to the terminal via Echo Juliet, Lima, cross runway 17 right at Echo Juliet.
Hang on. Echo Juliet Lima to the terminal, crossing 17 right. American 1768. It's Lima. Oh, it's on the other side. Okay. Like, where the heck is Lima? So we're cleared across. I've even forgotten what the real one park. We'll just find somewhere over Charlie area. I tell you, folks. Yeah, we'll take a look at this at the end. Lima is the outer taxiway, so the one I'm coming up to. Okay, Strokes Auto. C7. If we come in Echo Kilo, I think it's the next one. Oh, I think it was that one. Oh well. We'll go in at the next one. The signage is not all that great here. Oh, there it is. Kilo 7. Yeah, I should have came in.
American 456, if you were trying to contact me, your mic is very difficult to hear. It's all static.
All right, folks, we're coming in. We'll take a look at the landing and all of that here in a second. Okay, brakes are set. APU's running real quick inbound. We got the lights on. We got the flaps up. Spoilers down. Engine mode's
American 46.
APU terrain we can turn off.
American 456, KDFW Tower, your mic sounds a lot better now.
Perfect. We're going to pick up IFR to Honolulu Information Whiskey.
American 456, clearance and request standby.
Hey. Make sure we are stopped. I've had this where it doesn't stop. Brake temps, pulled. Yep. And we're ready to shut down. Engines off. Tower American 1768. In the Chalks, Charlie 7. Thanks for the ATC. Have a great night.
You too, have a good night. American 456, clearance ready, passengers copy.
Ready to copy, American 46.
Alright, we're offline. Oh my gosh. Alright folks, we'll talk it through in a second. Let me just finish up everything. Beacons. I'm pretty much, once again, not happy, but it is what it is. We'll work with it. Seatbelts, faults. And there we go. All right. Let's get the jetway in. And down here for the chocks. And for fun, let's, so we can try and end on a good note. Let's go ahead and let our caterers come up to the because we are at the hub. Alright, while we watch all of this, folks, I am going to file with American. as I unload the flight plan and edit. Delete. Bit of a rough landing, 600 on this. We'll see what American brought us in at. Finish. Alright. Alright, so you can see the aircraft taken care of there. American hopefully isn't as bad. I'm gonna find out here. You know, I'm hitting everything. Alright, and alright, just going to the PIREP here, folks, to find out how we did. 479 feet, not bad. We had a, according to them, a safe landing, engine start, livery. Yeah, they're going to have to add this to their computer, which not a big deal. But anyway, folks, we are in DFW, and yeah, well, I got to see, as you all did, just how fun VATSIM can be sometimes. All right. That's why sometimes, and especially out west, I refuse to fly on VATSIM, because there's part of the reason, but a lot more. Anyway, to get away from all that drudgery news, let's get up here and get rid of this. And let's bring up some toolkit. As soon as I get rid of that. And where is it on here? Sim toolkit. All right. Okay, you can see the flight here. I've already finished it, 664 feet a minute. The elongated because of the flight plan chaining. It's exactly my sentiments there, exactly there in Suic. Any landing you can walk away from is a good landing. Also, the aircraft appears to remain serviceable. I don't see any problems with it. Nothing broke. Thumbs up. All right, viewing details. Okay, it was an hour and 40-minute flight, 388 miles. Burned 3,200 kilos of fuel. Landed at 2.69. Now that is recommended by airlines to land that hard. That is so we wake up everybody inside the plane so they'll get off. Just kidding, folks. They really don't. Then that's not really why your landing was hard, the next one you're on. And you see that at 100. That's why right here, folks, we stalled. 106 knots we touched down. I think I flared early. And we landed early, according to this map. Oh, no, I take that back. We landed a little long. No, not long. This was the aiming point. We ended up just 600 or so feet past it. That's actually good. Center line, great. Speed, extremely. We should have been 122. We were 12 under. Yeah, roughly. 5-degree pitch, that's not bad. The rest of this is pretty decent. But the speed is what caused this, and this is what it is. But yeah, thresholds here. This is where you visually aim these big, you'll see them, folks, big, thick, white bars, approximately 1,000 feet down the runway. That's where you visually aim. That's where your PAPIs are generally located, as well as your glide slope tower for the runway. All gearing to get you right there. Okay? And then, of course, the landing zone would extend, I think, to here. I don't see any more hashes. So from here all the way back. But again, we are on a 13,000 foot runway. plenty of runway to almost let it roll to a stop. So, all right. So there you have it, folks. Let's see something. Oh, that's the corporate area. That used to be the American Eagle terminal. A long time ago. All right, so let's clear this out. And again, folks, to get to any of your landing reports, just go to your logbook. That's what we're on. And you can pull up any of these flights and see how you're progressing. A lot of information there to learn from. All right, let's clear all these boogers out of here. It's real simple. Just go back to auto, auto. The doors themselves will take care of themselves. But we'll get them here in a minute. Let's get these guys out of here first. We're going to try and replay the landing. ToLiss, I think, is the one I sometimes have trouble with. Right now we'll go close, close. Go ahead and close that one. And then these guys will back off. And while that's all happening, we can watch it from in here. Everything's green. Jetway's going away. Get off the chocks. Make sure my brakes are still set. They are. All right, let's see what we can do here. Yeah, I'm doing it a little different, folks. A little slower, I know. But it also gives me time. There we go. We'll get up here. Now we got rain. Welcome to Texas, folks. If you don't like the weather this moment, give it 15 minutes. All right. Here we come in, folks. We'll accelerate just a little. Hear that spool up, folks? That's what caused me to be high. It spooled up, which then raised us back on path, but didn't spool down quick enough. Oh, I didn't flare hardly at all. That's what happened. See, right here, I could have pulled the nose up just a degree or two, and that would have helped ease it on, but we were already probably too slow. The Hawker 125 view, brought to you by Hawker 125. 5. Screenshots. Alright, let's take a look at it. The cockpit. Back a little bit. Right before the fence. See if we can hear the engines. Okay, you see how we're 4 red? The aircraft actually spooled up, which gave us that little... That's how you control your pitch and all on the arrivals, on your descents. With pitch at this point. Rudder for left to right. Unless you're too far off. Alright, let's go back out and see how our passengers liked it. Here's the hawker seat where he was asleep. Somehow fell asleep. He doesn't like flying buses, but I don't know how he fell asleep then on it. At least we did take pleasure in waking him up. Crunch. Yeah, we hit a little hard, folks, but you know what? Overall, it was a great landing. We'll do one more out and back. I think we can get a pretty good tower on it. Actually, we got a pretty good flare, just not holding it long enough. But we stalled out too early. Crunch, crunch. May have a tire or two blown. But hey, we made it, folks. And that's going to wrap it up, folks. We want to say thank you for being a part of Flying with Mike today. Love that you took some time out of your day to spend it with us. It is always a pleasure here to come out, do some flying with you, and more importantly, just have some fun talking. So tell everyone, you know, we'd love to have you aboard. So hang on, I'm just getting things back the way they were. Set. Open. And check away. Mechanic panel. And folks, that's a wrap. Again, thanks for being a part. Thanks for your time today. We sure appreciate it. I know how precious time can be. Folks, we will not be on tomorrow. We will not be on Sunday. But folks, it will return hopefully Monday. And not sure yet what we're going to fly. But I hope you're here. Hit follow if you're not following already, so that way you'll know where we're going. YouTubers, that subscribe button, and don't forget a thumbs up. Y'all have a great night. God bless. Be safe this weekend. We'll see you Monday. you know what? Why don't we send you over to Duluth Fly? Let's rate the channel. You all have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday. God bless.